Hey everybody, this is Trevor, and you're watching my channel Social Dilemma. And we have some tragic news, some sad news coming out of Thailand. And it's a former police officer who appears to have the rank of lieutenant colonel in the police force of the Taiwanese police force, has shot to death, and there's apparently had knives as well too. 22 children at a preschool, and about a dozen or so adults. The 35 people in total have been killed by a former police officer in Thailand, Taiwanese police officer. So I just I hate these kind of things because I am an advocate for an American style Second Amendment. Now I live in Canada, and we don't have anything even remotely close to what my peeps from the south of the Canadian border in the United States have, and they seem to be under attack as well too. So how do we avoid these kind of mass shootings? Well, let's look at the gun laws for the Taiwanese citizens. And I have gone over them this morning, and they're kind of in line with what you would get here in Canada. Slightly better, though. I'm going to say the Taiwanese gun laws were kind of in between what you would get in Canada and the United States. I didn't find anything saying that that the citizens of Thailand don't have the right to bear arms like they do in America. They have to go through gun processing like they do in Canada. You have to have license, and the Taiwanese government, Thailand, is it Taiwanese? Thailand, the Thailand government. I'm not quite sure if it's. Anyways, the government in Thailand is what they do is they have a process just similar to Canada. You have to have licensing, and the citizens, they also require, they want to show that you're employed. They won't give anyone a gun license who's unemployed. You have to have it says a bank account. I didn't see how much it had to say in your bank account, but you have to be employed. You have to have a bank account. They do background checks for mental illness and whatnot. So it sounds like the government in Thailand has similar laws to Canada, yet they, from what I've gathered this morning too, they don't have bans like they have here in Canada on like an AR-15 platforms and whatnot, and now there's handgun bans in Canada. So it sounded like Thailand, up until probably today, had somewhere in between Canada's and the United States for gun laws. I have to look more into it, but that's what I'm reading this morning on Thailand's gun laws. So, now what? This is why I'm an advocate, though, for the Second Amendment, because had this school, the teacher, perhaps someone in the neighborhood had the ability to self-preservation. And how do you do that in this day and age? It's carrying a handgun. Perhaps this former police officer would have thought twice about going to the school and killing 35 people. At least 35 people. At least, 24 kids. Maybe it would have prevented him from doing that. What I'd also like to point out, too, is this shooter was a former police officer, and what I'm gathering, he had the rank of lieutenant colonel in the Thailand police force. That's a very high position, lieutenant colonel. This guy, I'm assuming, must have had to pass some mental background checks, but here's the thing, anybody can crack at any moment. Here's a former high-ranking police officer from Thailand who obviously had access to better firearms than the citizens. Let's just face it. The military and police in any country around this world are going to have better access to tools for self-defense or for going to war, whatever you want to call it, than any citizen will have. But had the citizens of Thailand had the ability to carry a firearm, open carry, concealed carry, some kind of like an American Second Amendment constitutional right to self-defense, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. Or it's certainly going to cut things down, okay? Especially, and here, here in North America, especially in the United States, they have that Second Amendment, but I don't know. I don't think teachers are, from what I gather, they don't seem to be allowed to carry firearms. And where do all these shootings take place? In areas that are gun-free zones. Okay, I'm sure, in America, it seems, there's so, the media will point out and that there's so many cases of school shootings. Well, let the teachers conceal carry, a firearm, a handgun. That's going to really reduce some people from, or most people, I would say, from going in and shooting up a place. But if you're willing to go in and shoot a place, now let's point out something too. This former police officer from Thailand also, then after he committed these heinous crimes, crimes against humanity of murder, he also drove back to his home where he murdered his wife and kids, and then he killed himself. I don't think any of, had his wife had access to a firearm, I mean, maybe she'd still be alive. Maybe the child would still be alive. So this is why I don't want this case to turn into another, hey, we got to get rid of guns. We just have to ban everybody from having guns. I don't want it to turn into that because I'm going to point out too, again, this guy was a former police officer. Okay, police officers and military people, public sector workers that come with firearms. Okay, so what I'm pointing out here is this guy was a police officer. He had obviously access to better firearms than any citizen in Thailand could have had. But had the citizens here at the school, the teacher, had the ability to carry a handgun, maybe, the death toll would have been less, or maybe this guy wouldn't have even gone there, okay? That's the problem. If you're going into a school to kill kids, you are obviously mentally gone. You don't care anymore. And so that's why I'm thinking, if a teacher had a firearm, she could have ended this guy. And she could have saved many people's lives. So this is why I'm an advocate for 2A. Everywhere in the world should have 2A American-style rights to carry a tool for self-preservation, okay? Because let's face it, what are firearms for? They are for putting food on the table. They are for the individual, for self-protection. They are for governments, police, and military to use in case the government decides that they need to invoke some kind of martial law or have to go outside the country to use those firearms. So basically, firearms are used for that. Those three major things. So I'm just looking at an article. It's just tragic. Absolute tragic. Almost 40 people dead because citizens weren't allowed the right to self-preservation. So this is what you get in the world. And we have to stop this now. You can't stop someone who's mentally gone to the point where they're going to kill children. They're not going to kill anybody. I mean, you're mentally gone. So how do we deal with that? You're not going to get rid of guns in the world. They're here. They're here to stay. They've been here for hundreds of years. They're not going away. So how do we deal with it? You give good people the opportunity to defend themselves and other people around them that they love. Because if you come into a school to kill people, you've given up your right to live. And you've given it up. So adults should be able to defend themselves and then the people that are in their care. I mean, this This is a scary thing as a parent. Knowing that you send your kids to a school that that some idiot who's just completely lost their mind now is going to go in and kill kids and adults and people. And knowing that, hey, in that school, the teachers have what to defend themselves with? Throw a piece of chalk at them? Come on. This has got to change. This has got to change. The whole world needs an American 2A style right to bear arms. And I hope, I can just tell right now this is going to turn into this is just another case and reason why we need to ban guns. Ban guns from who? Citizens? Who are you going to ban the gun? Because this guy was a former police officer. I mean, should we ban the guns from police and military as well? How far are people willing to go to ban guns? You want to ban guns from citizens? Well, you better ban not only from citizens, but from the police and military as well. And it just gets ridiculous, okay? It just gets absolutely ridiculous. At the level of people's obtuse wanting to, obtuse ideas in their head of banning guns and how, who should. But then there's people that say, well, who should have guns? Just the military and police? Citizens should only have maybe a hunting rifle? There's levels of obtuseness in who should own a gun, okay? And I feel that citizens, okay, every citizen in this world has the right to self-preservation. So, yeah, that's where I stand on that one. And I can't, my heart goes out to the parents now that have to live with this now. And I truly hope, though, that the pendulum isn't going to swing in the news and the media and governments will be like, oh, we got to get rid of the guns. We got to get rid of the guns. Okay, we got to make sure citizens, don't have those kind of firearms. Well, again, this was a former police officer. So should we look at banning guns for police officers and military too? Absolutely. You'll never hear that in the legacy media. Politicians will never talk about that, but people will come out and say, "Oh, this is more reason why we need to ban guns from citizens." So I hope it doesn't go in that direction, because every human on this earth has the right to self-preservation and protect themselves from crimes against humanity, and murder, rape, assault. You have the right to defend yourself. And had a teacher in this Thailand school, had a firearm, they could have ended this fella and his rampage of murder a lot sooner. So that's where this is at today, folks. Tragic news. All these little kids are dead. And the parents of those kids, my heart goes out to them. I'm the father of a 9-year-old girl, and I can't imagine getting that phone call. So, what an awful day. What an awful, awful day. So, think twice before you support people who want to ban guns from citizens. Because this could happen to you. This could be your child that's getting murdered. Okay? And this murdering rampages can stop if we allow citizens the right to bear arms. Okay? Thank you. Stay free. Peace out.